Okay, I'm back again, and it's been a while. I've been allowing the news stories to kind of build up, and wow, wouldn't you know it, everything seems to happen all at once. The first thing, the main theme of this is the liberal housing trap here in Canada. And my advice, and this is from someone that doesn't know anything really, so it's not really advice. Don't ever take my advice. My thoughts: do not fall for this trap. And so, by trap, what do I mean? Well, we have a bunch of I'm such a mess, overpriced real estate in this country. And the problem that's happening right now is that delinquencies are on the rise, but prices are not coming down. Now, part of that probably has to do with the fact that there's so much speculation that's built up in the housing market in Canada that the speculators have absolutely put nothing into the property, therefore could not sell it at a loss, because it would be $200,000, $300,000, $600,000 losses on a lot of these properties. So we're stuck in this waiting game for people to come back and buy properties. And obviously the Liberal government sees this, and their solution is to lie to young people and say, we're going to make housing more affordable by allowing a 30-year amortization and allowing CMHC insurance on up to $1.5 million homes. So that means you can buy a home like that with only 10% down, and CMHC will insure that mortgage. Ridiculous. This all goes back onto the taxpayers eventually if the crud hits the fan. That's one thing. But the other thing is this: they know that speculators need to get out of these properties. So what are they looking for? They're looking for a fool to come in and to use a 30-year mortgage with 10% down on a $1.5 million piece of property. But how is that any different from having speculators, you may ask? Well, families that buy properties will do anything to prevent having to sell the property. Take in a renter, work more hours, do overtime, stuff like that. Whereas speculators, when they have 5 different properties, they're just going broke. There's no way they can save it. So they're looking for a greater fool. They've got the government backstopping it. They've got the CMHC backstopping it. And they're going to do everything they can to prevent this house of cards from crashing. And potentially, well, I think they've already, with all of the things they've done and the incompetence that they've had around housing, they've already destroyed the Canadian economy. We've got 8% in unemployment here in Toronto, and it's going to go up, 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 up. Why? I go into stores, people don't have money. Some people have money. There's a huge divide. Someone that bought their property 20 years ago and 30 years ago and even maybe 10 years ago has money. They've been borrowing money, a lot of them, out of their house as it goes up in value, right? They've got money. But a huge swath, the people that we should be depending on for growth, are completely broke. And that is the people under the age of, let's say, 30, something like that, right? So the economy is a joke. But that's what's going on in Canada right now. And none of the parties have a solution for this. They're all, Poilievre talks a lot about making big changes, but he will not make any changes to make the lives, people's lives better from anything that I've heard him say. Now, the other big news story today, and I've been talking a lot about this in the past, Microsoft has determined that they can go ahead and promise to buy all of the electricity from a nuclear power plant, because they will need that in order to feed all of their AI that they are rolling out. This is pathetic. So I've been saying AI is so expensive. How expensive is it? You need your own nuclear power plant to run it. Who's going to be able to compete with that? Oh, I got an idea for a startup. First, we're going to make a nuclear power plant. Yeah, then we're going to install a bunch of NVIDIA processors, It's a joke. It's a pathetic, sad joke. But I'm not saying that AI isn't eventually going to succeed. The cat's out of the bag with AI. And the cat's out of the bag with the fact that corporations hate employees. The moment they sniffed that they could get rid of employees and use AI, even if it's more expensive, hey, lay everyone off, make sure we have a nuclear power plant first, then get rid of everybody. Microsoft can't even hold on to the employees at Activision Blizzard. They're laying them off. But a power plant, a nuclear power plant, that's in the cards. We can do that. Things have changed in high tech, and this is about the economy, and I want to explain it. Things have changed in high tech. Don't fool yourselves. And now we're seeing that the CEOs are changing, because the old CEOs that cared about building something with community and employees and stuff like that, they're all leaving because that doesn't exist anymore. If you had a company 20 years ago that was going to be taken over, right, was being sold, the important employees in that company would be asked to sign documentation stating that they have no intention of leaving the company between the time that they're signing this paper and when the deal goes through. Because at that time, they were not just buying your technology and your code, they were buying the employees as well. They needed them. And we can see how in 20 years this has flipped completely. The employees are not wanted, okay? The employees are a burden on the company. But AI is not going to replace the employees, and I've said this before, not right now. There's a long game for AI where roles, I'm sure, will disappear. But right now, AI isn't even profitable, for the most part that I can see anyway. Some people may be making profit. I mean, NVIDIA's making profit, but for the most part, those profits are long down the road. And replacing employees with AI is kind of longish down the road as well. So why do I, but AI is getting rid of employees now. The reason is that there's not enough money to invest in AI and to invest in employees at the same time. When you have to commit to using all of the electricity from a nuclear power plant, okay, that's going to be a huge burden. And all of these companies are competing with each other. And not only that, there's also this, it's about cloud AI as well, right? And everyone is throwing all of their money into the cloud. Now, I was talking to a recruiter, and he was like, Blaine, the evidence is already there. People have done the research, and it's less expensive and more reliable to use the cloud. True. If you have a company that runs sanely. How many of you have worked for a company in high tech that is anywhere close to sane, right? Where they make the right decisions most of the time, right? There's bad decisions each and every single day. And rash decisions are made all the time, right? So a lot of companies are losing money. So what's happening is that all this money is being poured into AI and into the cloud, and there's a huge service industry in North America. Services are getting more and more and more expensive. But we know, inflation's being tamed. We can't just keep upping the price. So we start getting rid of people. So that's what's going on right now. In Canada and the United States, there is a mad dash to cut interest rates. People think that that's going to bring back the housing market. People think that'll stem the unemployment that seems to be a bit of a problem. It might not make a difference, because when you have companies when you have to compete with a company that can simply use a nuclear power plant all to themselves, I don't know how you compete with that. And not only that, when you're dumping all of your money into these companies, you've got nothing left to pay your employees at the end of the day. So I still say things are not rosy at all, even though some people seem to think that they are. There are some deals out there, like they talk about the stock market. Google is a deal, in my opinion, right? Other companies, not so much. The thing is this. I thought in the past, and I'm going to be probably wrong about this next point, but I thought in the past that once we raised and kept interest rates up, that would signal the recession that we need, right? We need this recession here in Canada in particular. But what it really is that where we are right now is that we tried to raise interest rates and we failed. Everyone says, oh, we killed inflation. No, we failed to keep reasonable interest rates. 5% is a reasonable interest rate, right? That way you're not losing money against inflation every year. So if you save your money, you can come out ahead, right? That's reasonable. That's gone now. They don't believe in that at all. That we couldn't even get to 5%. We used to have 18% interest rates in the past and we survived. We cannot survive with 5% interest rates. But when the crap is going to hit the fan is when we keep lowering interest rates and it's not doing anything. And that's what's going to happen in some places, I do believe. I don't think lowering interest rates is going to do that much for Canada because everyone is in so much debt. It doesn't matter. Right? Like it's going to free up a bit, but the economy is not going to come roaring back. So that's my guess now. It's amazing how long these things take to totally unwind. But also when the government gets involved and does everything they can to keep a housing market afloat, that just keeps kicking the can down the road. You don't get a recession. You need recessions every once in a while to balance the economy. We are totally unbalanced at this point in time. Anyway, I hope I don't get in trouble from Better Dwelling for using their website earlier on in this, talking about delinquencies and stuff like that. Great little website. I agree with them lots of times. Sometimes I don't agree with them, but they're always interesting and they have lots of great information. Hang in there. Have a good day. And also, one thing I wanted to say, because I look in the job stuff on Reddit, and I see a lot of people that are embarrassed because they've lost their job and stuff like that. And people come in and it's like, you didn't get fired. They'll say, I got fired. No, you got laid off. Listen, if you're getting laid off, it's not your fault. And layoffs can happen, who they choose, especially in tech, you never know what's going to go on. It's the CEO's fault. They have not been guiding the company properly, right? And a lot of these CEOs hired so many people that they couldn't afford when it came down to it. They could only afford all these hirings when money was free and flowing into their pockets. They're still making money, the CEOs. You got scammed, is what happened. You were told there were plentiful jobs, and in reality, there were not. Not if you have to actually pay the employee with your own money, right? So don't feel bad. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.